The next class of submarines started by the Japanese was the three boats of the 2,557 surfaced and 3,564 submerged ton I-46 class, also known as the Hei-Gata C2 type, which was built from November 1942 through September 1944. Wait, didn't we already go over the Hei-Gata C3 type? The I-52s? Yes, we did. They actually started the successor to this class 9 months before this class. That doesn't make sense! They were near repeats of their predecessors, the I-16s, and were sometimes listed as batch 2s of that class. The main difference was they weren't fitted out as midget submarine motherships. They also had less powerful machinery, but due to hydrodynamics, retained the same range and speed, along with 8 torpedo tubes. The bad news was they were even bigger than the I-16s. That meant, as always, they were easy to detect on the surface, especially with radar, slow to dive, easy to track with sonar, and hard to maneuver. It was a problem that would haunt the Japanese behemoths. I-46 was started November 21st, 1942, and completed February 29th, 1944. Leap year. I-47 was started November 21st, 1942, and completed July 10th, 1944. I-48 was started June 19th, 1943, and completed September 5th, 1944. Main armament was 8 bow 533mm tubes for 20 torpedoes. A single open 140mm deck gun was mounted after the sail. Propulsion on the surface was provided by 2 diesel engines which produced 11,000 horsepower that ran the 2 propellers and recharged the batteries for a surface speed of 23 knots. While submerged, they used their batteries to power 2 motors which produced 2,800 horsepower for a top speed of 8 knots. Range on the surface was 14,000 nautical miles at 16 knots, and submerged they could do 60 nautical miles at 5 knots. Test diving depth was 100 meters. I-47 was completed with Type 22 radar. I-47 was fitted with chitin in October 1944. I-47 had her deck gun removed in February 1945 to carry 2 more chitin. I-47 had Type 13 radar fitted in April 1945. I-48 was completed with Type 13 radar and able to carry 4 chitin. I-46 was doing post-commissioning training in home waters on April 2, 1944, when she collided with Row 46, sending her back to the yard for repairs. With repairs completed on October 19th, she left port to patrol east of Leyte in an attempt to foil the American landing. East of Leyte, on the afternoon of October 28th, New Kid here tried to attack Task Group 38.4, built around Veteran Enterprise, Franklin, Bellawood, and San Jacinto. Instead, she was quickly detected by the screen and dispatched by the destroyer Helm with Gridley assisting. 10 out of 10 for guts, but 0 out of 10 for good thinking. I-47 began conversion into a chitin carrier soon after completion. With conversion completed and carrying 4 chitin, she left port to attack Ulithi at the start of November 1944. In the pre-dawn hours of November 20th, just outside the harbor, she launched all 4 of her chitin, one of which actually managed to hit the fleet tanker Mississinewa and sink her. With her 1 in 4 rate, she returned to Japan, trumpeting her success, arriving at the end of the month. Doubling down, and with 4 more chitin, on Christmas 1944, she left Japan for New Guinea. In the pre-dawn hours of January 11, 1945, off Humboldt Bay, Hollandia, she launched all 4 of her chitin, one of which managed to slightly damage a Liberty ship when it blew itself up. The 3 others simply vanished. With her chitin expended, she returned to Japan, arriving at the start of February. Now loaded with 6 chitin, on the morning of March 28th, she left port headed for Okinawa, but on the evening of March 30th, she was spotted by a pair of patrol boats which attacked, damaged her bad enough to force her to abort and return to port. With repairs made in mid-April, she again carried 6 chitin. She again left port for Okinawa. With 4 chitin having been launched for no results and 2 broken down, she returned to Japan in mid-May. Again carrying 6 chitin, in mid-July, she again set out for Okinawa, but after a short time was redirected to the Philippines. While en route, she hit a typhoon which knocked out all her deck-parked chitins, so she returned to Japan, arriving August 14th. The next day, their surrender was announced, and post-war, she was scuttled off Goto Island. I-48 finished training and left Japan in early January 1945, carrying 4 chitin, headed for Ulithi. West of Ulithi, on the evening of January 21st, she was detected by a patrol plane which attacked and damaged her. It also radioed the contact Ulithi, which promptly sent 3 destroyer escorts to find her. Corsair, Conklin, and Raby figured correctly, apparently, the damaged sub would head for Yap and promptly took off after her. On the morning of January 23, 1945, northeast of Yap, they finally found her, and after several tries by Corsair, she was sunk by Hedgehog from Conklin.